And breathe in and out your mouth because your nose is going to be busy. So we're going in on this right side. He's had plenty of surgery, so there's lots of tissue that's been cleared out, so it's going to be probably easy in some ways to get up there. Let's find out. Keep breathing in and out your mouth. It's going to hurt like hell.
Yep.
Maybe there's a more harsh word I could think of, but hell is a pretty good description. Okay, it sucks, yeah. Okay, stay there. Keep breathing in and out your mouth. Let your face relax for a moment. Now, you've been told what you need to do, so whenever you're ready, you breathe in and commit, okay? You'll feel your mouth, you'll feel your ears pop, you'll hear cracking, it'll hit the back of your palate, feels like you're can't breathe, and then it's over within less than 2 seconds, okay? Whenever you're ready. You can breathe, yeah, see? Good. Weird, huh? Make sure you cover your nose if you're gonna sneeze or something.
Yeah.
What do you think of that craziness?
Oh, I felt the pressure, but I didn't feel anything pop.
No? Okay. Well, we did our first one, so it's just the entry point. Okay. We're going in the middle cavity here, the middle turbinate. It's may feel a little different, but you kind of got an idea of how it goes. It's pretty weird.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, you just close your mouth and commit and point your toes up here. Cover your nose.
Sorry.
Do you need another tissue?
No.
No? Okay. Isn't that some weird stuff?
Yeah, that was. I feel like they need to pop, but they're not gonna pop.
You ever had someone give an old pull on your ears? Pull on the eustachian tube to loosen up that whole canal? Okay. Let's do that. This will hurt. Don't punch me. I had to squeeze your lobe. I don't know if I even got anything. Did you feel anything deeper? Sorry, that'll still.
It just got worse going in, but.
Yeah, seriously sucks, huh? Okay, try and breathe for a minute. Okay, whenever you're ready. Okay, you got some blood, so just cover it with your nose so don't sneeze out too hard. Then you come over to the faucet here. If you feel lightheaded, get a little water. Come up a little higher. All right, we're moving his facial bones, and previously it was so rigid and stuck. There was like no mobility. And what we did is after we did the ballooning and there's that quick expansion, now the bones are more malleable, they're more moving the way they're supposed to. There's natural cranial rhythm that exists. So the name of the technique is cranial, which means skull, and facial release. So we've released a lot of tension and pressure. Let me show you what that looks like here. We have these different bones in here. So the ethmoid is back inside. This red is representing the sphenoid. And so before when I pushed, there's like no give. Now there's a lot of movement, which is great. I think that means natural draining better, things like that. So just breathe in your nose and out your mouth. Yeah, there's a lot of movement there. Okay, now I'm gonna do some light cranial work on the side. You may choose to video more if you want or not, you know. So now we're doing some cranial work. We're going to the different suture connections and feeling these different points. So breathe in your nose and out your mouth, please. Yeah, it moves up more on this side. The maxilla and zygomatic arch area moves up where before it wasn't. So that's cool. That's good news.
Yeah.
We need more space up here, see if we can get rid of that ringing in the ear and that dizziness hell. Oh, that skull's moving great. So just keep breathing. This may be painful. You tell me if you want me to loosen up for a minute, but
Yeah, no, you're good.
it's gonna be hurting a little bit.
No, I can definitely tell now it's opened up and I can breathe better.
You can? Yeah. So Landen here sleeps with a CPAP machine. And he's had lots of surgeries that allow him to have better release of the mucus, and those sinus infections have reduced because of that. But it's been years. And you still have a problem breathing at night.
Yeah.
So doing this, we're going to see, any number of things may improve. And now that there's some functional improvement, meaning if the body is designed a certain way and he didn't, besides the symptoms, the mobility of these bones was resistant. And now that they move better, the physiology, meaning the function of what goes on in this area, his body's going to naturally process things better and work better. Going from stiffness to mobility makes a difference no matter what joint or what area of the body you're talking about. If someone has limited range of motion, things will plug up, get tight, and it causes congestion and problems with blood flow and lymphatic drainage and things like that. Now, we're playing that here. I can tell there's something that should change with him, with his symptoms. I'm expecting something hopefully really big. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yes.
That's what he's coming in here for. Coming in hoping for a miracle. You watch all those videos of all these people coming in and leaving.
And I'm like, I want to be one of those people.
I don't want to have to go back and do more surgery. I don't have to go do those other things. Okay, good. You can push stop. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go inside the mouth. We're going to press on the roof of his mouth. And with my other hand, I'm going to be pushing down on his frontal lobe, which is this blue. And we're basically going to use this newly found movement and mobility, and we're going to accentuate it and utilize it and activate it and really help things drain through there. So you're going to open up your mouth and you're going to breathe in and out your nose.
Okay.
So breathe in and out your nose, and I'm going to press up here. And that still feels pretty restricted. I remember the first day we did this, it was very restricted, and it doesn't feel improved, even after doing the craniofacial release ballooning. But it may, as we go, and doing this may help. Okay, that's good for today there. So with his, breathing in your nose and out your mouth, we're going to be working through the occiput and the temporal bones and parietal lobe back here. There's a lambdoid suture. The connection's back here too. Breathe in and out. Okay, even working here can influence the front and vice versa. So I know we'll have patients coming after we do the craniofacial release in the front, they'll start feeling the tingling or a release of pressure in the back of their skull. Let's say someone has a head injury. Just like any other joint in the body, if say I injure my ankle, when the new tissue gets formed after the inflammation subsides and the swelling comes down, the new tissue isn't as good as the previous tissue because it's been injured. So if there's fibrotic, if the ligaments, for example, which connect bone to bone, those fibers are laid down in the same uniform direction, allowing for mobility between the joints and retaining position. If there's been an injury, the new fibers lay down kind of like a mesh, and it's not going to move as well unless it's rehabbed properly and soft tissue therapy is implemented. Like if you're a famous sports star in the NBA, or you take good care and you go to a physical therapist, chiropractor, you can do that. But with this, if there's been a head injury with patients, you didn't have one.
Well,
we know of.
Car accident 17 years ago, high school football, concussions.
So you have hit your head, okay.
Years ago.
So anybody that comes in after concussion, sometimes wherever they may have hit their head, these sutures start to tighten up instead of having allowance for mobility. And that may plug up and stop restriction of vital fluid flow or nerves coming in through here or the blood flow. And when we get the face or the skull to start moving better, all that dynamic movement allows for drainage and things to get out of the way that are plugged up and inflammation. And then we have improved mobility in all regions of the skull. Even if we work on one area, it'll influence others. But we're just going through and doing a whole skull and facial approach, which is, craniofacial release. And he's on his way to seeing something change. That's what we're hoping for. What's different? You said you're breathing better. Can you describe what it felt like before and what it feels like now?
Before, it just felt like the right side of my nose was kind of more closed off.
Uh-huh.
And it definitely feels like it's opened up. I mean, it's opened up. I can breathe better. So hopefully, like you said, hopefully it'll drain, get my eustachian tubes to start draining, so we can release that fluid in my ear and get that ringing and fullness to subside or completely go away. That's the goal.
It turns out you want to go back to living your life and not
Right.
being stressed and worried and all these things that put you down. How often does this bother you?
Every single day, 24/7.
And when it's really bad, what does it do to you? What do you have to do?
When it gets
today?
really bad, it'll get to the point where it's so plugged up and ringing so loud that it'll trigger an episode, is what I call it, with Meniere's, and it'll put me down. Vomit. I've had it happen where I've been to work. She's had to come get me from work because it immobilizes me, and I'm down for 8-10 hours full day. The next day,
Recovery.
it takes everything out of me, so I'm just no energy. It affects me every single day.
Wow, that's amazing
So-
that you've dealing with all that, and you're destined to find a solution. So I really hope,
Yes.
we're just starting out with him here. We really hope that he gets some lasting improvement.
Yeah.
And this change that we felt and noticed so far, that turns into something that can make a difference in your life.
Like I told you, I've been to several ENTs. I went to a otolaryngologist specialist at the U of U. Medications, tried different types of therapies, and you name it. I tried it, and this is gonna be the thing that works.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be.
That's empowering and it's hopeful, and we're gonna do our best and just see what happens. Okay.
Okay. Get all in there, Heather.
All right, so his C2 bone has rotated off to the right. This is the spinous process. So I'm going to be coming in, not to be done at home or performed by anyone watching, okay? But by a qualified practicing chiropractor who's expert at this. This is safe. We've evaluated him. We know this is going to be perfectly fine, and we've already done it with him. But I'm going to stabilize his head with my left hand, and we're going to come in right here, and we're going to get this spinous to move. And you viewers are going to be able to hear it. That's something viewers can kind of join in with this here. We're going to turn your head to the left here. You're going to breathe in your nose. And once his body relaxes, we move like that. And then we release. Go ahead and breathe.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was good. It was good. Now we've pushed it this way. We're going to grab that same spinous. We're going to actually pull it around to continue that rotation. It doesn't need to just be randomly moved. It needs to be moving in the direction that's indicated, meaning what we've evaluated by feeling his neck and by what the x-rays show. And the symptoms, all this tension on this side is coming up and plugging up his ear and causing this Meniere's disease. So turn your head to the right. There's a lot of noise in there. Especially if you could hear it enough. Imagine for him, it's up there, it resonates and it echoes up from his skull.
Yeah, that felt good. Felt good.
He said it felt good.
Yeah.
He's coming back for more. Okay. So we're going to use this now. You've been saving this for you. Lift your head up. Let your head go back down. It's called the old ring dinger. It's a vertical y-axis adjustment. And he's going to breathe deeply. Just let his head relax. So, like that. Did you feel anything release there?
I did on the first one.
Yeah, okay.
The first tug, a little bit. It was
Usually I'll feel it too. It didn't feel like
slightly,
a lot.
but not
Just-
very much.
Okay, we're gonna feel your neck now and just see how it feels. Well, imagine that. It was all stiff and stuck over here. We released it. All the muscles have made the choice to do what they wanted to do, which is release and take a break. Now that bone's gonna start winding back up because he's molded into this position. His neck has been used to that, and so it's gonna be just a number of visits until it starts to last, okay?
Okay.
But let's feel your spine. When he came in today, his spine on the left was really, really tight. And it's already much more even.
I'd say I can tell it's definitely looser than what it was.
Yeah, and that's not placebo or just his feeling. I mean, it's clearly, it was tight. And it was tight because his brain was tightening that side because one side of his neck was much tighter than the other, and his brain was interpreting that as if the head was turning. Because if you turn your head, you'll feel that side tighten up. Or the other side when you turn your head the other way. And the brain anticipates what the next movement's going to be, so your brain will tighten up and reflexively activate all sorts of muscles. Now that we've gotten his head back on straight, his eyes are now neutral with the horizon, his inner ear, which is more stable instead of being tilted like this because that top bone was rotated and all these muscles are tight. Now that we've straightened this out, not only are the musculoskeletal signaling receptors called proprioceptors and Golgi tendon organs, not only are those signaling into the brain as sensory information, but now the vestibular system and the visual system are interpreting the world around him in a more neutral way instead of being tilted and everything's off and his brain's like, let's feel dizzy. So the ENT looks in the ear. Obviously it's related in a lot of cases for dizziness, but the tension in his neck and plugged up stress in his face is causing a lot of this, is what we're anticipating. And so as we balance out this and allow it to move better, all the sensory systems, meaning the eyes that give you awareness, the vestibular system, and the muscles in the neck all coordinate together to give us an awareness for posture and balance and stability and movement and executing daily activities of all kinds. So we're going to hopefully hope that this also turns off his fight or flight state, so his brain can just take a break and just be able to take restful and digesting functions better. Okay. So let's just make sure this is lined up. You're letting your head just completely relax, right? So just let your head fall and breathe. Okay, let's have you slide down and lay on your back. We're going to be analyzing his spine like we did in the other room. Anytime we're making improvements to this alignment and the symmetry to the musculature and the joints, we expect his back to completely release, and it continues to do so from last visit, which was his first visit, and today's the second visit, so that's even looser. That feels good. Okay, we're gonna get you out. You can keep your head straight, and we're gonna go rest in a zero gravity chair for a few minutes, and then we'll send you on your way. Okay. Look at what we got here. Landen's taking a break, and we've got him connected to a V-Lite X Plus device, which we've repurposed for uses of the face. So this diode is red, and the larger one here is infrared. There are different colors on the spectrum of the rainbow. Infrared's invisible, it goes a little deeper. But what we're doing is going into the sinuses. This light is penetrating into the tissue, and it's going to feed the mitochondria, which are organelles inside the cells. It's going to provide cellular energy so that the cells can use that to reduce inflammation and oxidative stress. What that's going to do is reduce the swelling. It doesn't matter what the cause of the sinus issues is or the pain that's existing here in the face. Besides surgery and cutting things out or using medications or spray, you can actually just use light, and it will reduce the swelling, so therefore the tissue has less pressure on nerves and less, there's more opening for the mucus to get through. So this is going to help reduce pain and swelling, and therefore all the symptoms that he's dealing with. And after doing the cranial facial release, it's a little bit sore probably, so this will also help with just what we've done today. But overall, this by itself would usually result in an improvement in people's symptoms with sinus problems. And anyone curious about more information about it can let me know, and I'd send them research. There's thousands of studies, and probably more than 12,000 studies on PubMed, National Institutes of Health.gov, of peer-reviewed research articles on this type of technology for different tissue of the body. We're just applying it to the face, and so it's very interesting to see, and hopefully helps him on his journey of getting better.